vintage 2008 is quite a lot of things in common with 07, because but you have to wait much more for picking in 08, and if you wait a long time, we have a little bit more concentration on the 08 because the crop is also down.
Right.
We have less crop in 08, and but the structure of the wine is a little bit the same. Good acidity, good fruit, good maturation, and a little bit more, in my point of view, a little bit more concentration on the 08 than 07. It's a very, very difficult vintage. So on vintage like 05 or 09, it's easy for everybody.
Yeah.
So, but in this type of vintage, you have to be very, very good on the vineyard, good on the cellar. So maybe it's easier to make, you know, to don't make a good wine in 08, because you have to. It's hard. You have to wait a long time for good maturation. You have to wait, so you take a lot of risk. Not a lot of people like to take a lot of risk. So maybe this type of vintage you will have big difference in the same appellation. You will have some bad wine and very, very good wines, because, you know, for example, in 08 a lot of people pick very early, too early. So because, you know, the weather was not very good, you have to take a lot of risk, and if you take risk, you lose crop, you lose some volume, and not a lot of people.
And they didn't wait, and so it was a vintage to wait. Yeah. But your thought was that you think that good vignerons now, even in challenging vintages,
good vigneron now, bad vintage, good vignerons, they always make good wine, especially on Chardonnay, because Chardonnay grape, it's easy to make good Chardonnay. It's very difficult to make good Pinot Noir or good Moulin à Vent or good red wine. It's much more difficult to make red wine, in my point of view. Chardonnay, it's an easy grape. If you have a bad year, a bad vintage, if you take some risk, if you make a good work in the vineyard, you always can make good wine. But for red, it's much